Cool. All right. So if you guys are in attendance right now, obviously you guys know these are our group coaching calls. We do this every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here at Heartletics. And this just brings a name to the face. A lot of guys are literally from all around the country, and some guys from either, different parts of the country or different, even outside of that, right? And these coaching calls are super valuable. We dive into the weeds in this one. We either talk about fat loss, we either talk about mindset, nutrition, workouts, anything like that. But these calls are, I like to say, one of like the best parts about Heartletics. So for today, guys, we're gonna do a little deep dive, something a little bit different. Jeremy and myself, we're gonna be running a masterclass, pretty much how to lose weight and keep it off, going over the essential seven essential fat loss habits at Heartletics. And most of you guys already know this. This might sound repetitive, but by all means, you will learn something today that by far you probably didn't realize coming into today's coaching call. And if you guys are watching this, in Facebook or in the Facebook group or listening on the replay, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're, checking this out and listening on the audio, whether it's, Spotify or iTunes, welcome. Coach Joe here with Heartletics. Got Coach Jeremy. And Coach Jeremy, why don't you introduce yourself? Kind of talk about, maybe what led you to Heartletics, and then we can just kind of roll with the punches from there.
Absolutely. Uh, it was back in 2020 when COVID and everything was going on. Gyms were shut down. Everybody was looking for a way to stay fit and healthy. And I found your Facebook group. I was followed it for 6 or 8 months, and we wound up having a call in November 2020. You called me. I mean, you'd been texting me, and I robo chat. I thought it was just some advertisement BS, and then boom, you just like straight up called me and said, "Hey, let's talk about this. What's going on?" And like anybody, skeptical. You got a guy calling you, trying to sell you something, telling he can change your life. And we as men typically get into our pride and think, I don't need all this. I can do this on my own. And we had a great conversation. I mean, you laid everything out for me, but in the end, I told you no. Told you I can do this by myself. I think I know what I'm doing and I can handle it. And the truth is, I tried every diet under the sun. If I had the word diet behind it, I had tried it. And in my mind,
Name a few though. Name a few. Like, what were some of the? I guess name 3 to 5 things you've tried. Because somebody,
carn carnivore
but
diet, the keto diet. I worked out with PX90. I did Herbalife. I did the Atkins diet. I tried everything. Now you ask yourself, did you have success with it? A lot of people want to say yes because yeah, I dropped 10 or 15 pounds doing that. But when you got off of it, you gained it all back. So you didn't have success, you failed.
Hmm,
And the only way to have success doing any of this is to be able to get it off, keep it off, and keep moving forward.
yeah.
And I can let my pride get in the way. I let me and all my infinite unknowing lack of knowledge to do what I thought needed to be done get in the way. And it held me up for another 8 months, and then fast forward to June 2021, out of the blue. I had not talked to you since that November. Out of the blue, you called me, and your exact words when you picked up the phone were, "Are you ready to get off your butt and get some results now?" What the heck? This guy got a freaking camera in my house or what? He can still see I'm fat and out of shape, or what's going on with this guy? So I mean, and I had to bite the bullet and realize that I'd worked my butt off that 8 months doing everything I thought I could do, and I was still stuck. I was 235 pounds, over 30% body fat, blood pressure medications. I was on pain medications because I was suffering from chronic pain. I'd had a heart attack previously in my life. I mean, my health was crap, and testosterone was crap. Sex life was bleh. Life was not great, and I had to finally look myself deep in the eye and say, "You need this." So I told you, yes, let's do it.
Let's pause real quick, right? So, like, you mentioned that there was a lot of crap in your life. You weren't liking how you were feeling, you weren't liking how you were looking, and it probably got you kind of like maybe either pissed off or depressed or discouraged. I guess, like, talk us through that moment where you had to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, stop talking the talk. Now it's time to walk the walk. What was kind of going through your head that made you kind of say, okay, I got to do something about this?
that was the thing, looking at the man in the mirror every morning when I was having to dump a handful of pills in my hand to try to control my blood pressure and my health, not being able to like the man that I saw in the mirror. I mean, I couldn't even look myself in the eye in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. You know, I did I didn't care about myself. I mean, as much as I wanted to do better, I didn't have the motivation or drive to improve myself because I didn't like what I saw. It took a lot of work and mindset change, which we'll get into later, that turned that around. But just seeing who I was, it was depressing. You know, I'm a father. I got kids. I couldn't keep up with my kids. I couldn't go out and play with my kids. I couldn't run and do the things that I needed to be doing as a dad. And that just, makes you feel worse and worse. And you wind up beating yourself down rather than building yourself up, trying to find a way out. You just keep kicking yourself further down in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate you being vulnerable and admitting that, you know? So now what happened, right? We had our second call, right? You picked up, you're ready to go. Then what happens?
So, I mean, we talked about everything that was going to happen and you laid everything out for me. And, you gave me a little bit of time to get used to the app. You said, here, this is going to be your day one. This is going to be your 12-week transformation.
Can we talk about something real quick, man? So, like, that's one thing that I just want to say this, okay? If anybody's going to sell somebody on a coaching program and say, you start day one tomorrow, how personalized do you think that really is? Like, think
It's
about that. Think about that, Jeremy. Like, if you would have started day one, the day after we had our phone call, do you think you would have actually had that time invested into learning how the coaching program works to actually have success? Or do you think you'd be like, man, this is way too much, too complicated, like, and it's almost just like you're starting off with an L.
I think I would have felt overwhelmed having to just jump into it with both feet right away. But you gave me the time to familiarize myself with everything that the app had to offer, the nutrition, how it worked, the groups that were in it, the community, and access to all the coaches, asking questions of how I needed to do it, the onboarding calls with Jimmy and Coach Mark and talking to them how to get through the things and do what we needed to do before day one ever started.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I think I had 2 weeks of prep because I told you 2 weeks would be pretty long enough. And in that 2 weeks, I dropped 8 pounds.
Yeah.
I hadn't even started yet.
Everybody thinks like prep means you don't actually start, but you really do. You know,
Yeah.
like Drew just did his very first check-in, right? Drew has not even started day one yet. But Drew, can you just give a thumbs up? Are you already down 4 pounds since starting? See? And the reason why it's called prep, guys, is because before you actually start your 12-week transformation program, we want to make sure that in those prep weeks, we actually get your body's metabolism turning and burning, right? Where you're actually seeing some wins immediately, but you're actually moving and progressing into phase one. One, 100% confident that you're going to have success because two, you've already done the necessary work to actually start getting some wins underneath your belt and building that momentum. You know, think about it like a train. The most amount of energy a train uses is in the very beginning stages, right? Chugga, 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 choo, choo, right? So it's just like, how do we use that hard part, right, to get everything turning, right? The momentum as just a prep week or two or three, just depending on that person, before we actually kick things off. That way they already got that momentum.
And then it just from from the prep to day one, my mindset had already changed because there were more results in 2 weeks than there was that 8 month period between our calls. So I knew there was the possibility that I was going to be able to hit my goals. Okay. That was the first time I actually thought this is going to work. This is what I needed. So we started day one. I mean, everything was laid out for me, my nutrition, my workouts, my daily habits, all the things I needed to do. The recipe for my success was there. So I jumped in with both feet.
Yeah.
25 pounds. Okay. And when I say I lost 25 pounds, I don't want to use the word weight. I lost 25 pounds of fat. Okay. I don't know exactly how many pounds of muscle I built, but my fat was doing this, my muscle was doing this, and my metabolism was speeding up, my blood pressure was going down, and poof, there go the blood pressure medications. My doctor had to take me off of them because my blood pressure was going too low. He says, "What's going on? You're losing weight. Are you okay? Is everything all right in your life?" Like, yeah, I just found this program and it's like nothing I've ever seen. And the medication started going. It started with the blood pressure medication, and then the pain management started getting under control because I started training my body and strengthening my body because I had lower back pain, I had neck pain, I had shoulder pain. Those things started to disappear because my body, I started using it how it's supposed to be used and strengthen it where it needed to be strengthened. Now those medications are gone. Okay. My confidence started going up. Then I had my testosterone levels checked that were in the tank. They had doubled, which made my girlfriend extremely happy because now my sex drive is like off the chart. She had to like beat me off the stick, get away from me. But my entire life just started to improve. And it wasn't just, I mean, the physical aspect of it was great. Getting off the medications, amazing. Get away, dog. But everything just started improving. And then it dawned on me one day, the down, depression, not liking myself, all the things that I hated when I looked in the mirror were disappearing one by one. I
Hmm.
was that guy that could look myself in the mirror and be proud of what my body was turning into. And there were weeks that it was hard. And, I didn't want to, or I couldn't see it. I got in my own head again. And, Coach Brian at the time was doing my check-ins every week. And Coach Brian, he's really good about reminding you how good you're doing. All the coaches are, in fact. When you get your check-in done, they lay out everything you've done and say, you may not be seeing it, but look at this, 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 and this. Look what you've improved. Your weights went down, your body fats went up, your workouts in the gym, your progressive overload's gone way up. Everything is there and it's laid out for you in those check-ins by the coaches to say, hey, yes, you are making progress. Now, did I make progress every week? No, because we have plateaus. Everybody's going to hit them, but they're short-lived. And that's something that I had to learn. I thought I was stuck, but I got reminded constantly, this too shall pass. And it did. And everything just kept climbing and climbing and climbing until now it was no longer about me having to depend on the app to know what I was going to eat. I had learned how to work out how I wanted to work out for my body types and goals because you personalize that to around what I wanted to do with my back, with my knee, with my shoulder, with my neck. When we first started out, you took those workouts and said, if this is causing you pain, we can change it. And there were some things we had to change out. So to say these are personalized workouts, they're 100% personalized. And that's the stuff that started moving me more and more out of my comfort zone to go, okay, I've got strong enough doing this now. We need to go back to that and address that problem I had with my back or my neck or this. And we started easing into those things. And you pulled me out of that chronic pain era to, I mean, I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 25 years old. So it's like I said, my entire life changed. Everything flip flopped, everything became better. And the biggest growth was up here.
Yeah.
Once I had a hold of it up here, everything just fell into place. It was no longer a struggle. It was I looked forward to getting up, going to the gym. I looked forward to, what am I going to eat today? Because it wasn't what can I can't eat that. I can't eat this. That food's bad. This is horrible. If I wanted to eat freaking donuts, I ate donuts. If I wanted to have ice cream with my son, we had ice cream sundaes, man. Didn't matter because I knew how to fit it into the numbers you gave me to eat what I wanted to do and enjoy each and every day of my life instead of getting, oh, I got to cut out carbs. I can't eat that. That's, hey, fat ass, stay out of the fridge. You can't do that. It's going to destroy everything you've done. And that mindset just went away. And I mean, the donut eating contest we did on here one time was proof of that. We all smashed a lot of donuts because
Can you talk about that? Talk about that, please.
oh man, so we all had a challenge. We got on here. It was half a dozen donuts. See who could eat them all the fastest. And I still think I beat John Stouse, but he may have swallowed a little faster than I did. But man, we were in there for like 2 minutes. Everybody just stuffing donuts in their mouth as quick as they can, having a great time because that's what this family, this community, this Heartletics is all about. It's about having fun. It's about, you know, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the learning how to do everything we want to do and have fun doing it and be successful while we're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know what's funny? Drew put in the chat. He said I would crush y'all in a donut eating competition. Drew, you have not seen Jeremy and John Stouts go head to head. It is. I thought I was good at eating donuts. I'm a donut fanatic until I saw these guys. In fact, Drew, I have it on YouTube. I'll send you the video and you'll literally see John smash. But Jeremy, you said something going back that I actually want to talk about before we dive into our presentation, which is very important. You said I was losing 25 pounds of fat, not weight. And I just want to know for everybody that's watching this and tuning in right now, just show of hands. Who here has ever tried, let's say, cutting out their carbs to lose weight? Bunch of guys? Okay. And let me guess, like the weight instantly dropped, right? And then what happened? Plateau, and then maybe fell off track, or the weight just came right back up. Is that safe to say? And like the reason why is because there's such a difference between weight loss and fat loss. And I think in the health and fitness industry, it doesn't get talked about enough, right? Like anybody can lose weight, they can cut out their carbohydrates. And I always say it like this, you're losing glycogen, you're losing water. If you don't believe me, Jeremy, what happens if I'm taking my phone and let's say we're over in Lake Michigan, baptizing Jimmy like we did for our retreat, and man, I forgot to take my phone out of my pocket. What do you think when we went back to that Airbnb before we all wrestled? What do you think would happen if I took my phone and I put into a bowl of rice?
The rice is just going to suck that water up and it's going to swell.
Yeah, and it's the same thing when we take the carbohydrates out of our body, when we eliminate them. It's like we're just not storing that glycogen anymore. You know, the oatmeal, the rice, the breads, that's it. Just because the number on the scale goes down does not necessarily mean you're just losing body fat. You could be just losing glycogen. It's the same thing when guys, they'll do crash diets, right? They're eating like 500 calories a day, thinking like, man, I'm going to lose weight. And the answer is, yeah, you will. But a lot of that weight loss is going to be muscle. You know, with this program, it's all about fueling your body properly, giving you the right mindset, right? You can either give a man a fish, feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish, feed him for the rest of his life. And that's where we gave you the tools and the knowledge, Jeremy, to learn how to train and eat properly for your body type to actually lose the body fat, not just the weight loss, you know? Um,
And not to mention, who wants to live like that? You know,
right.
if
Yeah.
if you want to go have cheeseburgers and fries with your kids or your family, or you want to take your wife out on a date night, or you've got something going on at work where they're having a potluck or some kind of, are you going to sit back and eat the vegetable tray and pick the bread and the croutons out of your salad and all this other crap because you can't have carbohydrates? That's a horrible way to live. It's a horrible relationship with food. And that's so much what this is about is fixing your relationship with food, understanding that, food's not bad. It's the portions, it's the amount of, proteins, carbs, fats, all that stuff that you need in your body to feed it correctly. And again, this is one of those things. I mean, you talk about people that go to college and spend $80,000 on a degree to work for 20 years, get a gold watch, retire, and they're still paying off student debt. You
Yeah.
get into this program, you're investing into knowledge that you're going to carry till the day you die. Not just
Yeah.
for you, for your family, for the people around you. It's something you carry with you forever because this is sustainable. It's real. It's tangible. It's not a fad that's just in and out.
Yeah, yeah, beautifully said, man. In fact, Brendan, he left the call, but me and him had our mindset call today, our one-on-one, and he literally has one of his goals is he wants to get his 11-year-old son involved with, working out, eating healthier and whatnot. And it's just like exactly what you just said. It's like you're gaining that knowledge to not only help yourself have success at reaching your health and fitness goals, but you're then also being that light for others, right? And helping along that path for your friends, your family members. And obviously, like, think about your son, man, Connor. Like, you guys are always in the gym. Even just posted a Flex Friday photo in the community group not too long ago, man.
And he's one of
Talk,
these days, the student will surpass the teacher with this kid.
talk about that though. Like, you gained all this knowledge and now you're working out with your son. Talk about that a little bit before we dive into the presentation.
It's there's a reason I had to push him into the gym. He got in a bad accident and had to rehab him through it, but he fell in love with the gym. It's not so much, it wasn't so much he knew he was going to get muscles. And I mean, it's cute to see him over in the mirror flexing after he gets a pump. It's freaking awesome. But it's the time we have to share together. And,
Yeah.
getting a 15-year-old kid out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning before school and getting him to go to the gym, how many 15-year-olds you know are going to do that?
Right.
I get
Very
him
little.
up.
Very little.
Some mornings it's a little bit of a struggle, but man, he's up, he's ready to go. We're out the door. And I mean, he matches me set for set, rep for rep. He does my exact workout. And seeing him progress, and I mean, start hitting PRs in the gym, and he's the really cool thing, the coolest part is, I mean, the gym I go to, it's got a bunch of old guys in it in the morning. I mean, from 50 to 70, and they're in there and they're rooting him on and building his confidence. And his mindset now is he's trying to get kids at school. Hey, you want to go to the gym and work out with me? We got time at lunch. Let's go to the gym and work out. I can teach you a few things. He's picking up the same knowledge at
Yeah.
school, the way he eats. If they have crap for lunch in the cafeteria, he won't eat it. He'll run across the street, get a protein bar and a protein shake, and then when he gets home, he'll eat some at home. I mean, that's how far it's come with just him. I mean, and it's every day. It just makes me freaking just blow up with joy seeing him push to be better.
Yeah, I love that because it's like you helped him and now he's helping his friends at school. It's that snowball effect. And that's why I always tell guys, like, especially if you want like your spouse to get in shape or your kids to get in shape or your coworkers, it starts with you. You got to lead by example, right? I know a lot of guys that, they'll tell their kids get off the video games and get off the tablets and stop watching TV, but yet they're the guys that come home from work, crack open a cold one, sit around and watch a football game or Netflix. Like, monkey see, monkey do. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You got to fill up your cup first.
Right. I'll address the monkey in a room when it comes to the new fat loss shots. Do I have
Mm,
anything against the GLP ones? Absolutely not. Some people need them and they work. But even if you're getting on the fat shot, the GLP ones, you still have to have the knowledge of how to eat because we talk about weight loss and fat loss with the shot. If you think that's the easy, quick answer, you're going to lose 60% fat and you're going to lose 40% of your muscle.
yeah,
You have to have that muscle for your metabolism to go up. So you still need the knowledge on how to eat right, how to eat for your body type and goals, and what you're supposed to be doing. There's no easy answer. There's no magic bullet that's going to fix all your problems. There's accountability. There's Heartletics. There's success. There's things that work that aren't a diet. It's a lifestyle that you can learn to love and enjoy every day with you, your family, everything, man. Every aspect of it's just it's good to do.
absolutely. Yeah. And those shots, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of hormonal side effects still in the very early stages. I'm sure more is going to come out here in the, future. But if you think about it, it's just a band-aid to a gunshot wound. And you said it best, like you're not gaining the knowledge to fix your baseline, your foundation. So it's like you either got to live off those shots or it's like, hey, yeah, you're losing weight, but is it actually fat loss? It's just like, first off, I'm not a fan of shots at all unless I'm getting tattoos or needles, I should say, not shots. But second, it's just like it's not that hard to learn. And I think that's what's going to help a lot of people today when we dive in this presentation. So with that being said, Jeremy, me and you are going to go through this and just let me know if you can see my screen, okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, guys, this is a masterclass, and it's not a hard masterclass because nothing at Heartletics is really hard. I mean, Jeremy, would you say the hardest thing was probably just getting signed up?
Yeah.
I mean, that's typically it.
That was the hardest part of it.
Yeah. Because afterwards, we take out all the guesswork, right? You mentioned, hey, we give you a to-do list. Here's your habits, here's your nutrition, here's your workouts. Follow through with it. End of the week, we do our check-ins. Every single week, you see the results you're looking for? So, when it comes to this, guys, I want this masterclass to be simple because we use the philosophy at Heartletics is KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? And when it's simple, it's sustainable. It's like the turtle versus the hare. Like sure, you can cut out your carbohydrates and do backflips and burpees and chop off your leg and lose a whole bunch of weight, but like, is that actually going to be sustainable? Probably not. So like the turtle, right? The consistency is key philosophy. That's what this is. It's simple, which also means it's going to be retainable. You're going to be able to pick up everything from this masterclass and be like, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense. So, with that being said, Jeremy, what do you think? We're going to dive into 7 main struggles that people have when it comes to losing weight and keeping it off before we dive into actually how to lose the weight and keep it off with the Heartletics way. What do you think is like by far or maybe just think about yourself, right? What do you think by far is like your biggest struggle before Heartletics? Why you couldn't lose the weight and keep it off?
Consistency and accountability. I
Hmm.
mean, it it was easy to say, I can sleep for an extra hour and I'll try to make it to the gym tonight. Or, I don't feel like cooking that meal tonight. I'll just stop at McDonald's and grab something to eat because I'm too tired to cook. I didn't have any consistency in what I was doing, and I didn't have any accountability to do the right things.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said one of them, which is good. Now we're going to go through this list. I'm going to ask you though, right? And I'm sure you're going to say either yes or you're going to say no. Okay. But for anybody else that's watching this or watching the replay, like literally stop and just think about this. Because if these are the seven struggles and seven biggest reasons why people fail to lose weight and keep it off, you just got to do the opposite. That's as simple as it is. And I'm going to give you the cheat sheet on how to do the opposite. So, number one, crash diets or restrictions. So, Jeremy, crash diets, restrictions, have you had any?
Not since I've been with you. I had them before, and again,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
crash was definitely a crash because you always ended up hitting the wall and gaining it all back.
Yep. And once again, yeah, this is you before Heartletics. So it says here that most people jump into fad diets that are way too restrictive. They're cutting out their carbs, sugar, their favorite foods, and that might work for a short term, but it's not sustainable. When the diet ends, the old habits return and the weight comes back, and sometimes even more weight. Would you say that's pretty accurate, Jeremy?
100%.
All right, let's go to number two. Okay. The all or nothing mindset. I know Coach Brian, who's on today's call, who's walking on his treadmill listening, and he mentioned about this having a horrible mindset with the all in, all out. And so it says for this guys that they think that they must be perfect, right? With the workouts, with the nutrition, as soon as life happens, whether it's vacation, stress, injury, and I'm cracking up, guys, because this used to be me. I used to say, man, I got to stick to this 6 day push, pull, rest workout routine. And anytime I needed to go travel or I couldn't make it to the gym, I would get so pissed off and think, man, I'm going to lose all my gains, lose all my progress. And it says here, they fall off, they quit completely instead of just adjusting. So for you, Jeremy, before Heartletics, did you ever struggle with this?
Oh yeah. If I missed a day or two, it rather than getting myself back on track, it was easier just to, not start back.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to number three. Lack of education. And you mentioned this, right? About, learning how to fish and learning what works best for your body type. So people don't fully understand nutrition, metabolism, and training for their specific body type, their age, and their lifestyle. They just copy generic plans instead of learning what actually works for them. So, Jeremy, before Heartletics, were you that type of guy that, and I used to be this guy. I'd go to bodybuilding.com, read the men's health magazines, go to YouTube, try to figure all this out on my own and try to create this perfect plan for me to follow because somebody else had amazing results doing that for them. But whenever I tried it, it didn't really work out the best for me.
Absolutely. And that's because, yeah, it may work for two or three people, but we're all different. We all need different things. But I mean, the bottom line is knowing how to eat and do it because my whole mindset was calories in versus calories out. If I eat 1,000 calories and I burn 2,000 calories, the math adds up. I have to be able to lose weight. Well, the body doesn't work that way. You're slowing your metabolism down even more. Your body's like a cactus in the desert. It rains and it sucks everything up. So now your body's taking everything and it's storing it to body fat because you're in famine mode. And the I couldn't figure out why. Well, I'm only eating this much and I'm running and I'm doing this, that, and the other, and I don't lose anything. What's wrong? Because I lack the education that I needed to make this happen. And I mean,
Yeah.
when was the last time that somebody, I'm gonna throw Coach Brian in here, he was eating 3,800 calories, eating Snickers bars on his reverse diet
Yeah.
so he could hit
Yeah.
his calories and was still losing body fat. I mean, when
Yeah.
we reverse diet out, our calories climb and our body fat keeps going down, our muscle keeps going up, we get more food, life gets better. It's part of that education we get.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, man. You hit the nail on the head. Let's go to number four. No accountability, right? So it says here, without support or someone holding them to their goals, it's easy to slip back into old habits. Accountability, which could be a coach, community, a partner, is like the glue that actually makes consistency possible. Jeremy, what do you want to say about that?
And no man is an island. We aren't meant to go through any part of our life alone, whether it be the wins, the losses, the struggles, the whatever. And before Heartletics, that's what I tried to do. I worked out by myself in the gym. I did what I thought I needed to do. I didn't want anybody's advice. But now, and accountability, a lot of people make it sound like, you're going to be up my butt telling me I've got to do this, that, and the other. It's not like that with Heartletics. You get up in the morning and, there's a ton, like this morning, Flex Friday, everybody's posting their Flex Friday pictures. And there's people in there asking for prayers. There's people in there asking for questions, things that are going on in everyday life that we face that we build each other up, we call each other out on, we push each other to improve with. Accountability can sound like a really, threatening word, but to me, it's people having your back. It's not somebody telling you don't do this and you got to do that. It's everybody having your back, pushing you to be better.
Yeah. 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 The way I think about accountability is like, I can count on somebody. If that makes sense. Because think about it, like we say this all the time, and at Friends of Recovery, at the Journeyman meetings and AA, right? The three worst words is "I got this," right? Because it's an only a me thing, an I thing, a ego, right? Edging God out. It's not a we thing, And so it's like all pressure's on, and I tell guys all the time, like, what area of your life have you had any success doing anything by yourself? And somebody be like, oh, well, I got this amazing career. Oh, cool. Did it first start with the right teachers teaching you, the right education, and then college, and then you had classmates, and then, once again, that was your peer groups, and then you get to the workforce, and you actually had your boss teaching you how to do it first, right? Or somebody else coaching you and teaching you how to do it first. So really that career, once again, you needed support. You needed the right people in place. We can look at Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. Guess what? When that dude got cut from his high school basketball team, he got the right people involved, right? He got the right coaching. He got the right team members to help him to perform better. Fast forward, obviously, when he makes it to the league, right? He hires even more trainers. I've never seen Michael Jordan play a basketball game 1 against 5. He's always had his teammates. He's always had coaches. He's always had trainers. That's what made him the best. They even say, hey, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Like nobody can do anything by themselves. But it's once again that ego, that pride that kind of takes over that says, like, man, I can do this because somebody else looks online and says, well, I see that person doing those workouts. I see that person doing that meal plan. So I'm just going to follow it too. Once again, they lack the education though on what works best for their body type. So they're kind of just throwing spaghetti up on the wall, hoping and praying something sticks, but nothing's ever going to stick, especially if you don't have the right people holding you accountable to success. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. And one thing about all those people you see, Facebook, Instagram, there are some real ones out there. But and whenever we first talked and I saw your ads, I'm like, this dude, he's just been in great shape his whole life. No, there you were a fat kid, man.
Yep.
I'll tell everybody he was a fat kid and he is for real.
Yeah.
A lot of the people we see on social media, those are actors. Those are people who are paid to be in those ads to do those things. They're not doing those diets. They're
Yeah.
getting paid to be there. I've seen pictures of you whenever you're chubby cheeked and overweight, and I've met you in person and I've seen what you are, and I've seen your workouts, and I definitely know that you're for real. And that's the difference between everything you're seeing flash up that's supposed to be flashy and work as to the real meat and potatoes of what does work.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a difference before we go to the next slide. There's a difference between being a fitness influencer and a fitness coach, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bang through these. That way we can save time for a Q&A at the very end. Number five, right? Unrealistic expectations. So it says here, many expect instant results, right? And you can gain those instant results. You can cut out your carbohydrates, right? Instantly lose weight. But once again, is it actually going to be sustainable? So when the scale doesn't drop as fast as enough as we want it to, people often get discouraged and they quit, forgetting that sustainable fat loss is about months and years, not just weeks. I like to always just tell guys that this is a health and fitness journey. It's a marathon and it never ends because your goal should be to constantly progress. Like nobody wants to work for somebody and says, "Hey, I'm comfortable right here," and that's it. They just settle. They want to continue to climb that corporate ladder. They want to continue to make more. They want to continue to get more roles, more responsibilities, make a bigger impact. It's the same thing on our health and fitness journey, right? We're constantly striving to become better. Let's go to six, which is lifestyle and environment. And this is huge. So, high stress, poor sleep, sitting all day, easy access to junk food and social pressures, whether that's work lunches, family habits, making just make staying consistent more difficult. Jeremy, would you say that's pretty accurate? Like birds of a feather flock together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
once you start changing your lifestyle, because that's what this is, it's a lifestyle, those expectations become real. You can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, and that's realistic. And it's with this lifestyle that success comes instead of, falling off and not being able to stay consistent.
Yeah, yeah, and I tell everybody, and I know I probably sound like a broken record, but the members that engage the most inside of our community, they always get the best results. And it's not because they're doing any extra workouts or doing anything different with the nutrition or some crazy, thing on the side. It's simply because they're changing their environment. When you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of other guys that are like-minded and you guys are talking about the same thing you mentioned about today, right? Flex Friday, right? Inside the community group. People are asking about prayer requests, asking questions, talking about some other things like, Kurt sharing about his wins, how he's down over 50 pounds, right? Like when you're surrounding yourself with these people, subconsciously, you're becoming like them. And that helps obviously with the mindset shift. And that's the identity. They still seem, this is one of the biggest, struggles for guys. They still see themselves as someone who can't stick to it or is just overweight. And if they don't change their identity and their self-image, even successfully weight loss, right, won't last because the mind will drag them right back to their old behaviors. And Jeremy, before we dive into the 7 key tips on how to actually lose weight and keep it off, you mentioned that like the biggest shift for you when it comes to losing weight and keeping off was the mindset shift. Can you talk about that a little bit more based on this slide?
So, you know, lack of belief in yourself, no confidence. Whenever you start seeing yourself change physically in the mirror, that's going to make you feel better. But whenever you start seeing yourself progress in the gym, lifting more, doing more, feeling stronger, it builds that confidence. Now you're starting to believe in what you're capable of and what you're able to move towards. And then compliments start coming, not just from guys in this group, but in the gym, people, your family around you, like, hey, you look great, you're doing good. These things start happening and your mindset shifts to a place where instead of going, I can't change my old behaviors, I can't lose weight, I'm going to be fat forever, to this is possible and the sky's the limit.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned about like accountability being so important, right? If you think about it, you just mentioned about, hey, you're progressing in the gym, right? But also unrealistic expectations. There's not going to be every week where you progress in the gym or you progress and see the fat loss drop, right? And it's like during those times where your mindset might be kind of taking a hindrance, right? Because you're not seeing those results. That's where you have the accountability and the community and the coaching build you right back up. They get right behind you and they say, yeah, but look at this. Maybe you didn't lose any weight this week, but sure enough, hey, you hit that PR in the gym. And before you got signed up for athletics, like that would have never happened, right? It shifts your focus on the negative back to the positive to help somebody stay on track and consistent with their goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive into 7 fat loss habits. And this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be quick because we're going to blitz through this and then we're going to talk about the very end, just a little Q&A, okay? But number one, calories. And you mentioned, Jeremy, that, hey, a lot of guys think it's calories in versus calories out. Horrible mindset to have if you're somebody that's trying to actually lose weight and keep it off. When it comes to calories, you don't need to starve yourself. You just need to create a small, consistent calorie deficit, right? Very, very key words there. Small and consistent. It's not about eating less food. It's about eating the right amount of food for your body and your goals. The way that you guys think about this is like if you're taking a road trip, Jeremy, you live in Texas, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. If you wanted to take a road trip and visit me, we go get a leg day, workout in, smash some donuts afterwards, have some pizza, but you never actually filled up your car with gas. Do you think you're ever going to make it here to Ohio?
Not a bit.
That's the same mindset, guys, right? To have when it comes to your health and fitness journey. Food equals fuel. And if you want to be able to lift heavier weights, you want to be able to lose more body fat, you want to be able to speed up your metabolism, you got to fuel your body, right? Stop treating your body like it's some broken down car and you never want to, give it proper food. Treat it like it's like a classic Chevy or, a F1, or some kind of like fancy sports car, whatever the case may be. Like you're going to take care of that thing, right? You're going to wax it, you're going to wash it, you're going to get it detailed. Treat your body the same way. And I promise you, like when you start fueling your body is going to perform better for you. More energy, less joint pain, all these things that you want taken care of, it can immediately happen the minute you start fueling your body properly. Protein. So when it comes down to your macros, and that's guys just short for macronutrients, which is your proteins, your carbs, your fats. Alcohol is the fourth hidden macronutrient. But as simple as this is, hey, when we're eating those foods, right, these macros they get dispersed to where it needs to be at in the body for different recovery principles, for metabolic principles, hormonal principles, whatever the case may be. Focus on just eating more protein. And whether you're somebody that's on today's call or listening in, a simple calculation is just take your body weight, multiply it by one, play it safe. Eat at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And that's simply because protein keeps you full, supports your muscles, boosts your metabolism. Hitting your protein goal each and every day makes fat loss a lot easier, while also helping you keep the muscle that gives you the shape and the strength. Jeremy, before we go to the next one, if you remember when you first got signed up for athletics, and this is like 99% of the guys that sign up for our coaching program, everybody always says, hey, my problem is portion control. I know I should be eating like this, and I'm way overeating. And then they come into our coaching program, probably very similar to yourself, and we actually give them more food because they're actually fueling their body properly. And we give them this protein target to focus on, and the likelihood of them actually hitting it, it becomes like hard because they feel full, they feel bloated. But then, sure enough, over time of them being consistent and us holding them accountable, giving them tips and tricks on how to hit that protein goal, stick within that calorie range, all of a sudden they start feeling like, man, I could just eat all throughout the course of the day now. They don't, they feel like, man, like I'm just hungry nonstop. And that's the telltale sign that your metabolism has sped back up to when you're in like your 20s and your 30s again. Do you remember that time, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, because before Heartletics, I could eat 4,000 calories of crap and still be hungry.
Yeah.
But whenever I started out, I was at 2,100 calories with you, and it took me, I was at 235 grams of protein a day. It took me almost 3 or 4 weeks to be able to get that much protein in because holy crap, it's satiating. You eat more protein, you're gonna stay fuller longer, and you're not eating a bunch of crap. I mean, and you notice a big change in your appetite. But
Yeah.
then when my metabolism shot off and everything started firing on all 8 cylinders, I was begging you for more food. But that was a mindset thing, man. We worked through it and drank more water, did a few tweaks to things, and that's when the fat just started melting off.
Yeah, you mentioned a mindset thing, right? Because if you think about it, if you would have been on that journey by yourself, like, hey, just go ahead and eat all that food, you're gonna be second guessing yourself. Man, how is this possible? Like, I'm gaining weight, or I feel so full, I feel so bloated. Like, man, like this isn't right. But when you have the right coaching and community and accountability, you don't have to have that, guesswork, right? It's taken off your plate. You don't have to second guess things anymore. You just got to follow and listen through directions, and that's what led to your success.
But trust the process, man. Just trust the process because it works.
Yeah. Let's go to number three, guys, strength training. And this can be done either at home or right at the gym. And I just understand this, that cardio burns calories in the moment, but the strength training, that's what actually builds the muscle. And the muscle keeps your metabolism higher all day long, whether that's at home, with or without equipment, going to the gym. Focus on that, right? Progressive overload, lifting more weights, drop sets, supersets, muscle confusion, right? I know a lot of guys, they'll do some workouts and they'll just stick with it for years and then they wonder why they never see results, right? Your body's a machine. It's always going to adapt. And so that means you got to be constantly changing up the nutrition and constantly changing up the workouts as well, right? So that way you're keeping your body guessing. You don't go through that metabolic adaptation anymore. Neat, right? So I never tell guys, hey, they need to do cardio because I don't really do cardio unless I have an event coming up or something that I'm specifically training for. And I'm in my 30s, right? I know a lot of guys that we coach are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. And I tell everybody, do what you can stick with in the long run. And by far the NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, has been the end all be all when it comes to losing fat in the most sustainable way and keeping it off. Because if you think about it, if I was going to go for a run, do some sprints, go for a jog, elliptical, stair climb, or anything like that, when I get my heart rate to a certain level, I'm then using glycogen stores for fuel. But when I keep my heart rate nice and low and I'm still moving my body, aka NEAT, I'm using primarily body fat as fuel, right? And that's what we want to focus on. This is why we can reserve and keep and maintain our muscle and still be burning body fat at the same time. Number five, hydration, right? Most people mistake thirst for hunger. Drinking enough water helps you control your cravings, support digestion, improves energy, and keeps fat loss on track. So aim to stay hydrated before you reach for the snacks. And then the last two, and the reason why I went through these ones kind of quick is because the last two are the most important ones. So, six being stress, right? High stress raises cortisol, which can lead to cravings, poor sleep, stubborn belly fat, right? Like cortisone belly. Learning to manage stress, whether that's breathing, journaling, or downtime, keeps your body in fat burning mode. And lastly, sleep and recovery. So with sleep, right, this is when your body repairs itself, kind of like taking your vehicle, right, to a mechanic. That's what sleep does, right? It tunes you back up, it repairs you, balances your hormones, burns fat. Without good sleep, the cravings rise, the energy levels drop, and the workouts suffer. So prioritize recovery to maximize your results. So, Jeremy, think about those last two, because I told you that. I tell this to everybody. The seven fat loss habits, you could be dialed into your calories, dialed in your protein, dialed in the hydration, crushing it with the steps and the strength training workouts. But if you're underneath a lot of stress, maybe that's at home, maybe that's at work, maybe that's with finances, or maybe you're not sleeping the best, or maybe you have an injury and you're constantly just going through the motions, making things worse rather than actually healing and make things better, you're spiking your cortisol, making it very, very difficult to actually lose the body fat and get the results that you're looking for. Jeremy, think about that though. Like, what do you think is maybe something that has personally helped you when it comes to those last two habits that we talked about with sleep and stress?
So sleep's the easy one. The more sleep you get, the more time you have to recover. And I was one of those guys that was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. Now, I mean, I moved up to six and I was like, okay, I'm getting six. So I'm inside the window at 6 to 8. But when I got 7.5 hours sleep, my results just skyrocketed. It became so much better. But stress is the big one because cortisol is our stress hormone and it causes us to store belly fat, whether that's from stress at work, stress at home, injury, whatever. You've got to learn to control those things. And it doesn't matter how you do it. Prayer, meditation, journaling, find an outlet where you can get yourself just kind of woosah and relax and get that stress out of your life. And sometimes it means cutting some things out of your life that are bringing too much stress in. And because those last two, they will completely sabotage everything else if you don't focus on those two. One bad night of sleep where you're tossing and turning can wreck a week worth of progress because it's got to be consistent. Hard stop at night, wake up the same time in the morning. Don't just crater it, staying up all night Friday and Saturday night doing whatever. Stay consistent.
Yep, I love it. Love it. And if in case you guys are wondering, like, okay, this seems so easy, right? Like calories, protein, strength training, like nobody said sprints, nobody said cut out your carbs, nobody said backflips and burpees. You're probably wondering like how good these results can actually lead to. Well, here's a couple client testimonials before and afters that I think are worth just noting. So Chris, one of our members, he lost 25 pounds, yeah, all within 12 weeks, 90 days, right? Went from 20% body fat all the way down to sub 15. First time in his life, got to see six pack abs. Our boy Santa, which everybody knows, right? First 90 days of his coaching program, You mentioned, right, Jeremy, when me and you started talking, you thought I was a robot. Same thing with Santo. I remember being in my kitchen, sending him a flex photo of myself, right, about to eat lunch. And he's like, bro, it's actually you. I'm like, yes, it is. And we talked, built him out the perfect plan to follow. And sure enough, he lost 50 pounds all within the first 12 weeks. And we actually had a donut and alcohol eating challenge back then. That is not no longer on YouTube. Well, it's an unlisted video because I got drunk because obviously I don't drink. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to be drunk on YouTube. So that's a private one. In case anybody wants to see that video, you got to send me a private message saying Santo and I'll send it over. Then we got a boy Mike, lost over 60 pounds. Literally was on the verge of getting type 2 diabetes from his doctors and was pushing the pills on him. He was already having high cholesterol, high blood pressure. He told his doctors, just give me one last chance. Don't give me another medication. He got signed up, and within like the first 4 months, lost, I think, over 40 pounds. And then within the first 6 months of coaching, lost well over 60 pounds, but got off all of his medications. Obviously, Mike's one of our coaches now, which amazing, amazing guy. Greg. Greg is still in the Facebook group. Awesome, awesome guy. Grandfather, just like you, Jeremy. Tatted up, abs, looking like a stud. First 90 days of his coaching program, lost 30 pounds, got off his blood pressure medications. We got Mark, 6 months of coaching, right? Doing the same habits that we just shared with you guys, lost over 90 pounds. John, right, who we all know and love, 6 months of coaching, lost over 150 pounds. Joe lost 30 pounds in 12 weeks. Jason lost 100 pounds in 6 months. Jimmy, right, when he first got signed up for coaching as a bus driver, his first 12 weeks, lost 75 pounds, right? This is the guy, right? This is the award winner. This is like whenever somebody says, what's the most amount of weight that you can lose? I always say Jimmy lost 75, but don't think that's going to happen to you. Jimmy's a rare breed. That does not happen all the time. And then Brian, 6 months of coaching, uh, love this transformation just because mentally he had to go through so many storms, just like you mentioned about Jeremy as well, and that's what led to him losing 85 pounds of fat all within 6 months. And then we got you, right? Look at this, man. Way back in the day. Now looking like a stud.
And
And
I gotta say on this, guys, that's my daughter standing next to me. She never went to the gym. She never worked out. She matched my nutrition, did what she was supposed to do on her nutrition, and walked 10,000 steps a day with me. She lost 24 pounds in 12 weeks.
yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I know we're coming up to an end here, guys, but I want to give you guys the secret sauce, and then me and Jeremy can kind of share with you guys, the next steps. If there's one thing that we shared today that hopefully you guys take note of, it's has nothing to do with the workouts. It has nothing to do with the nutrition. It has nothing to do with the hydration and the steps. The number one secret for having success when it comes to reaching your fat loss goals is consistency. Now, the likelihood of somebody doing something by themselves, it makes it very hard to stay consistent. Because with coaching, right, you can get somebody in your corner seeing all those blind spots that maybe you're not seeing. Like maybe you don't know when you should be changing your workouts and how to change your workouts effectively. Maybe you don't know what adjustments to make, whether you're traveling or if, let's say you get an injury, how to pivot and focus more on the nutrition and maybe more on the mindset. And then when it comes to nutrition, maybe you don't know what adjustments to make. You can't just continue to cut out calories, cut out calories, cut out calories. Eventually you'll be at the bottom of the barrel. Maybe you don't know enough how to reverse diet properly to build that muscle, right? And continue to increase your calories while still losing the body fat. That's where coaching comes into play. That's where accountability comes in play. And that's where support matters the most because with most things, a brotherhood, that's what's going to lead for you guys having success. So, Jeremy, before we wrap things up and end the Zoom, let me just ask you this, right? Based on this presentation, based on everything that we kind of went over, if somebody was sitting on the sideline right now, whether they're watching this on Facebook, whether they're watching this on YouTube, or just listening on Spotify or iTunes, and maybe they're at a point in their life where they're like you back in the day, where you're staring yourself in the mirror, clothes don't fit, you lost respect for yourself, tired, joints hurt, you just feel like you're stuck, you know? What would be the thing that you would want to tell them to give them some guidance and give them some encouragement?
You're never going to be able to accomplish it doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's insanity to keep doing what you've been doing because it's not working for you. I'm not saying that you have to sign up for Heartlytics. There may be some other coaching program out there that you're looking at that you've found interest in. Great. But you need that help. You can't do this on your own. You need someone to guide you because you don't know everything. Nobody does. And I mean, even to this day, you're learning new things and sharing with us. Take a step forward instead of pushing yourself back in the corner more, becoming more sunk in. Step out of your comfort zone. Ask for the help. Reach out. Schedule a call with you. You know, just talk about it. There's no obligation to it. Just call and see what it has to offer because, yeah, we laid out a lot of it here. But here's the thing, if you just take that first step in the right direction towards investing in yourself, your health, your fitness, your mindset, that's going to be the starting point for you to get going. And that's what's going to lead you to a community like this because that's the secret sauce here. All
Yeah.
these guys, I mean, 12-week transformation, great. You're going to lose that weight. Everything's going to be great. But how many of the guys have lost the weight that are still with you for years, still on the app? Because it's not just one and done. The brotherhood, the family, what we are is so much more than that. I mean, we travel across states to see each other. I've got guys that'll be brothers till the day I die because of this program. Move forward, take a step in the right direction, get out of your comfort zone, become a part of something because that's where your success is going to happen.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And if you guys want any more information, you can either send me a message on Instagram at Big Joe Callari, or just go to heartletics.com and, like Jeremy said, schedule a call. Jeremy, I appreciate your time today, man, helping me with this masterclass. I know it was super valuable, and I appreciate all the hard work, man, and also just the words of encouragement that you said at the end, man. That was perfect.